I hang my head in shame, and my days spent in HoboVille purgatory on today's episode of Barber Dave's Shaves and Such. Hey everybody, welcome to Monday. I know that I said that I was not going to do any shaving videos on Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday this week, but after what occurred yesterday, I felt guilty. And I'll go through everything we shaved with at the end, except for the razor, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. So, why did I feel guilty? Well, you saw the opening. And yes, I spent an entire day in purgatory in HoboVille. What is HoboVille? Well, those of you that have been watching the channel for a long time know that HoboVille is not shaving. So you look like a hobo. Well, yesterday I had tons of rock to move around La Casa. And me and the boss spent all day from early morning until almost dark moving 2 tons of river rock bordering our driveway and stuff like that. And some of these rocks were more akin to boulders. And so when we got done, took a shower, had a bit to eat, and promptly fell asleep. So I did not get a chance to shave yesterday, and I woke up this morning and it was horrible. And mind you, I have a fairly light beard. So for those people that have heavy beards, yes, I'm talking to you, Matt. I don't know how you do it. I have no idea how you do it, because I normally shave every day, don't miss a day. But yesterday I was so tired and so worn out that I didn't. And it was horrible. So today we've got about 2.5 days of growth, almost 3. And we're going to be shaving. The razor we're using today, and this was prompted by my partner, my business partner, one of my business partners, in the Drinks and Dave channel, about an open comb. And he was shaving for his first time with a fat tip. And those are widely known as one of the most aggressive open blade razors. So what we're going to shave with today is the Blackland Trodari, and it does have a brand new Persona Lab blue in it. But part of his video was talking about blade gap, and I wanted to go into the differences between blade gap and blade exposure. Now, many people think the aggressiveness of a blade gap has something to do with the aggressiveness, the openness of the blade gap has something to do with the aggressiveness, which in part it does. But so does blade exposure. Now, when we're talking blade gap versus blade exposure, if I can get close enough to the camera. So if you notice here, this does not look like it's got a lot of blade exposure, nor does it have a lot of blade gap. Gap being the distance between the safety bar or open comb and the razor blade. And the blade exposure is how much blade you see. Well, aggressiveness can be factored in 2 ways. It can be factored by blade gap, meaning the space between the razor and the safety bar. You can see that the blade gap on the Blackland Blackbird is quite high. However, it doesn't have a lot of blade exposure, yet this is one of the most aggressive razors there is, for me. Now, as far as blade exposure, this doesn't have a lot, but it is enough in the angle to where this is a fairly medium aggressive razor. Well, where the fat tip gets its reputation is in blade exposure. Now, I don't have one out, but if you have ever shaved with a gem razor, the blade gap on a gem is not that big, but the blade exposure is huge. It's the same way that a straight razor obviously has no blade gap because there's no safety bar, but you have sometimes a full inch, if it's an 8/8 of blade gap. It doesn't have any blade gap, but it's got full blade exposure. So angles are very important, but yet straight razors are the most aggressive razors you can get, but yet how can they be so smooth? Well, it's all in the angle that you shave, even though there's a huge exposure of the blade. It's the same thing with a safety bar. All the safety bar does is factor in those angles. So you could have a razor like a fat tip that has hardly any blade gap, but has huge blade exposure. And depending on the angle you shave at, you could have issues. So just remember, when you're choosing a razor, whether it be a safety razor, an open comb, make sure you factor in both the blade gap and the blade exposure for the needs of your face. And you also have to be more careful. So my personal opinion is if you can shave with a fat tip or any aggressive razor, like even the Blackbird, you can probably shave with a straight razor. It's just getting the touch and the feel correct. And like I said, with the Tridari, where I feel most exposure or most aggressiveness is in my left to right shaving. Or in my case, this is my against the grain. Because of the open comb. But it's so nice to get away from HoboVille. Although the argument could be made that if you take a day off shaving, that you're going to get a smoother, closer shave. Like I said, my beard is so light for the most part that doesn't really affect it that much. I just do not like the way my face feels if I haven't shaved. I've only had a beard once, and I've only had a mustache once. And I just prefer being clean shaven. And back to open combs. If you are considering an open comb razor, when you're first getting into it, I would suggest a Gillette New in the long comb or the short comb, actually. And then if you really start liking open comb razors, if you can find a Blackland Tridari, I would say it's one of the best overall because it's not overly aggressive, but with a little bit change in angle, you can make it as little or as aggressive as you want. And paired with the right blade, which in my case is the Persona Lab Blue. It's just a perfect combo. As my buddy Nurse Dave would say, this is definitely screaming dolphin. But I can feel a little bit of irritation right in the neck area. And that's because I was a little bit too aggressive with this open comb when I was doing my passes that way, because I can feel it right in here. And I'm sure the alum will probably tell me that as well. Oh yeah, porcelain glass smooth. Let's see what the alum says. Nothing on the face, nothing on the chin, nothing on the lip. There it is, right in here. And that's my fault. I knew that was going to happen because I got a little bit too quick and complacent. And I got to remember, open combs you can't necessarily do that with, even when they're as mild or medium mild as the Tridari. So again, our razor today was the Blackland Tridari. Beautiful, beautiful razor, very vintage, just a wonderful handle, very, very well weighted. The blade was a brand new Persona Lab Blue. Well, it feels good to ascend from the purgatory of HoboVille to the heaven of shaving. We're going to be using Thayer's Lemon today, as it goes real well with everything I shaved with. Let that dry down a little bit and we'll go over everything else we shaved with. So our brush today was a Teton shaving. This thing's a beast with a synthetic knot in it. Just a wonderful, wonderful brush. This was gifted to me by Brian. We don't see Scuttle Soap too much anymore, but it's a wonderful brush and I like it a lot. Our soap today was Aran Aromatics from Scotland, and it's done in this beautiful, beautiful river rock. Kind of ironic that I'm shaving with a river rock and I hauled these things around all day yesterday. I didn't even think about that. Karma has a wonderful way of catching up to you, doesn't it? And our aftershave balm today will be Aran Aromatics Machri. This is, I believe, sea salt and rock rose are the main. Sea salt and rock rose are the main characteristics of this fragrance, but it does have some peatiness to it. Probably a little bit of greenery, but you can definitely smell the sea in this. It's a very nice balm. It very protecting, and it pretty good fragrance for a balm. And it emulsifies really quick on the face, even though in the hand it feels like it would be a little thick like lotion, but it's not. It emulsifies really, really well. We're going to stick with that spiciness in the talc today, and this is Yardley Gold, which has that spice. And it really goes well with this as well. The one thing I've noticed about the Yardley Gold is it goes well with a lot of scents. It's a little bit more pungent than some of the, what I would call barbershop style talcs. But it pairs real well. Oh, wonderful, wonderful shave. And then for our EDT today, we're going to again be using the matching from Aran Aromatics. We're going to be using Machri, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful smell. This is where you really can smell the peatiness of this. but just perfect for a somewhat cool day. Well, that's it, guys. And I am not going to be doing a shaving video tomorrow, but I felt guilty because I had spent my purgatory in HoboVille yesterday. So anyhow, that's our shave for today. Thank you so much for joining us. We're sitting at 1166. 34 more to go, and we're going to be giving away an actual razor for our PIF. So tell everybody, let's get up to 1200, and we'll give away that razor. I'm Barber Dave. This has been Barber Dave Shaves and Such. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful Monday, and we'll see you next week. Take care.